Today, we are talking about the transition of energy from ambition to execution, from concept to reality. I am joined by Dr. S.S.V. Ramakumar, CTO and EVP at AM Green.
If you want to really explain or distinguish the ethanols from its production pathways, from the product carbon footprint that they are associated with, then it's always better to talk about the carbon intensity. From the sugar industry, bagasse is a sugarcane residue. So any ethanol produced from these sources, its carbon intensity can be as low as 10 units. AM Green's larger vision is that to set up 5 such second generation ethanol or low carbon intensity ethanol producing refineries.
Yes.
So what is the linkage between aviation and ethanol? So SAF is one of the biggest downstream value addition for the ethanol.
When we say green molecules, what does it mean?
So using renewable electricity, whatever you produce chemically, that is green molecule.
So if somebody must remember 2-3 green molecules from this conversation, what would they be?
So green hydrogen,
Okay.
green ethanol,
Okay.
green ammonia.
So where are these green molecules used today, and where should we start in theory?
The immediate usage is for refining steel and cement.
So which green molecule India has the highest opportunity to be the center? Like, for example, when you say ethanol, Brazil is what comes to mind. Maybe US is the highest producer. So which molecule can India produce at scale, export at scale? It's a huge opportunity.
So we have already demonstrated. For me, the first molecule which has the global potential from India is ammonia.
Okay.
Green ammonia.
Right.
And
where are we in it now?
AM Green has recently concluded a supply contract with German Uniper for 1 million metric ton in 2 phases.
Right.
First half a million metric ton, and second 1 million metric ton. Recently, the construction of the green ammonia plant at Kakinada in the east coast of Andhra Pradesh is in rigorous phase of implementation.
Okay.
So by 2020, end of 2027, our production will start, and from Kakinada port to all the way to Germany, the commercial supplies will start. It's a firm contract. This is the first ever contract from India.
Right.
And so that's why I told you that instead of green hydrogen, green ammonia is a more easily tradable
commodity. Yeah.
Tradable commodity. Right. And we have demonstrated this. Some more commercial agreements are in the offing. I cannot divulge it now.
No problem. Yeah.
But definitely you'll be hearing more. There are many more players who are working in this molecule. So the easiest green molecule today where India will have an edge is green ammonia.
Sir, if you list top 10 countries, where do we stand now? Are we in the top 10 as of now?
Easily we are in the top 10.
Oh, okay.
Easily we are in the
And you're saying we can take the number 1 spot as well?
I can't say that, but definitely we have the potential.
I mean,
I have the opportunity. So for me, as far as India is concerned, the potential in order of priority for green molecules is ammonia, SAF, then ethanol, low carbon intensity ethanol.
Right.
These 3 are very potential green molecule that India possesses all the requisite wherewithal, whether it is technology, whether it is feedstock, whether it is will to execute bigger projects.
I'll stand noted on the green ammonia part, but is there such global demand for it? We will become the number 1 producer.
Europe is the biggest demand market.
Okay.
Irrespective of Western fluctuations on the philosophy of climate change.
Okay.
You know what I mean. I don't want to openly say this.
Yes.
Europe is extremely firm on climate change, and their RED 3 compliances, their regulatory standards are very decisive.
Okay.
Their CBAM is in place. So Europe is a big market for all green molecules today. It might be USA also.
Maybe from 100 years we'll see, but foreseeable
No, maybe
future,
after 4 years it will be, maybe after 3 years it will be USA as well.
again. Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. Sir, so what is India's advantage that puts us to be, give us that opportunity to produce these 3 molecules you mentioned? Ammonia, green hydrogen, SAF.
Scale, availability of feedstock,
Okay.
scale
Right.
at which we can execute,
right.
and the frugal engineering, the
Jugad, frugal
tight.
engineering. Yeah.
I mean, frugal not in
You can't
negative
make jugad at a
connotation.
1,000 crore plant, but yes.
Not in negative connotation,
course
I'm
not.
saying.
The frugality of our system.
It is an efficient engineering, let me say that.
Right.
Efficient engineering and execution cost of the projects. Those are the big advantages for us.
Right.
And of course, there is a government policy.
Which is friendly, favorable,
Friendly.
pushing
There is this National Green Hydrogen Mission Roadmap.
Yeah.
It gives you PLI schemes for producing green hydrogen. It also gives there is a PLI incentive for producing electrolyzers indigenously in this plant.
Okay.
And then there is a compressed biogas. There is a scheme by Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas called SATAT.
Yes.
Sustainable alternative for affordable transport.
There are schemes, right?
There are schemes.
Yeah.
There are schemes. Government through its 3 PSU companies will give 10 years of offtake guarantee for CBG.
Okay.
For any small or big entrepreneur who is producing compressed biogas, there is a BIS specification as long as this CBG.
So the agreements are 10 years offtake.
10 years.
Right.
Letter of intent even before you put the project.
Right. Of course. The sale happens before
based on the feasibility report, based on the credentials of the entrepreneur, the oil companies can give letter of
offtake agreement for 10 years. Right. So your sale is assured. Now you just
and priority sector lending is also there. Some of the nationalized banks, based on the LOS that an entrepreneur can produce,
this is what they take it as.
They give the capex loans.
No, I've met some of them who has borrowed to a tune of 200-300 crore from.
So incidentally, banks, again you will say, I'm also part of SATAT schemes.
Okay. Nice. No, we know we have the right man. So there is no doubt on that.
Yeah.
So talking about R&D, you have spent a great amount of your career in R&D across public sector, private sector. So who in India does good R&D? Is it the PSUs or is it the private players?
I would say, because I have spent 37 years in PSU setup, and even within PSUs, I have the rare distinction of from day one till the day of retirement.
Right.
I was only in R&D.
Okay.
I started my career as R&D scientist. I ended as director R&D for IndianOil on the board of IndianOil. So my 37 years are in R&D. So I know the R&D ecosystem existing in public sector undertakings of oil and gas sector, and also in BHEL and in other PSUs,
right.
Maharatna, NTPC.
Okay.
So definitely the R&D appetite, R&D spending, the patience for R&D,
of course,
is very good in Indian PSUs.
Okay.
Whether it is up to the mark, whether they are doing what ought to be done, whether the spending is on global average, then the answers are different.
Okay. Got it.
See, the global average of R&D spending by multinational companies, leave aside the pharma and
pharma will be
much higher.
Much higher,
but in oil and gas sector,
right?
Gas sector, it is anywhere between 4 to 5%.
Okay.
Multinational oil companies. By that yardstick, we are not even half a percentage.
Oh.
Okay. As a part of our revenues.
Right.
But the highest spend among PSU R&Ds is by IndianOil.
So is it because we don't need that R&D? For example, because we don't drill here and so much oil from here, so we are only importing.
No, I am talking about downstream R&D.
Downstream.
Drilling is upstream R&D.
Okay. Right.
So in downstream R&D, why? I mean, IndianOil R&D is 50 years old. HPCL R&D is recently constituted, green R&D. BPCL is also having in one form or the other.
Sir, to make this drive home this point, give me an example of an outcome, a great outcome that came out of IndianOil R&D.
So that's a very That's a very, very sought after question for me.
Okay.
So I would tell you, a short while ago I explained you about the secondary refinery process.
Yes.
So one of the secondary refinery process is fluidized catalytic cracking.
Okay.
In any refinery, any modern refinery, not even so modern refinery, the workhorse is FCC is treated as the workhorse.
Okay.
When all the Indian refineries were getting established, we took this FCC technology from Russians, from Americans, and we set up our units, and we have been operating for the past 20, 30, 40 years. And IndianOil R&D has developed its own high propylene yielding fluidized catalytic cracking technology and named it as IndiMax.
Okay.
And we have licensed it back to Gazprom.
Oh, back to where it, okay. Nice.
So Gazprom.
Yeah,
So that is
Russian giant,
that is the watershid movement for my career.
Got it. Okay.
My
We
career.
used to use
We
their
used to
technology,
import
now
the
we sold it
technology,
back
and
to
we
them.
are now licensing it to Gazprom. Is a very advanced company.
Of course.
Advanced company as a conglomerate of oil refining companies. So we have.
I think they were in the top 2 of
So
Fortune 500 at some point, or maybe even top 1.
I can cite any number of examples, but that would be a different podcast.
Okay, so this came from the IOCL's R&D.
IOCL R&D. It's known as IndiMax technology. Okay. I'll give you one more.
Sure,
I'm tempted to give one more example.
Please.
We all know LPG for times immemorial.
Right.
We are using it for cooking purpose. It's the least hazardous and most domestic friendly gas, cooking medium.
Right.
And for metal cutting industry, for ages we have been using oxygen and acetylene gas mixtures.
Yes, the CO2 welding, the cutting, all of it.
Ship breaking, shipbuilding, any metal cutting, and this is highly hazardous to handle by the human beings. But still we are living with this kind of technology. So IndianOil R&D thought, it actually did a out of box thinking, that the most amenable gas, liquefied petroleum gas, can we make it amenable to cut the steel?
Got it. Okay.
So then we found that the LPG flame, the flame that is generated by LPG, is not good enough in terms of temperature to cut the steel blocks. So we at R&D, the scientists thought, what can we do to increase this flame temperature so that it will be suitable for metal cutting, so that you can remove this poisonous or hazardous acetylene, oxyacetylene mixture. Oxygen is not poisonous, but the acetylene is this thing. We used nanotechnology interventions, patented nano products, and a little speck of a nano material that is developed indigenously by IndianOil R&D. When it is impregnated in
the regular LPG,
in the regular LPG, its flame temperature from...
So it's an accelerant of some sort? Or?
It promotes loop oxidation. And the flame temperature without nano addition is normally 1100 to 1200 degrees centigrade. Suddenly with this ppm level of nanomaterial will push the flame temperature to 2500 degrees centigrade. So we launched a product in the fastest, from conception to market launch. It took only 1.5 years for us, which is the fastest.
Of course.
And Indian Nanocut today took the market by storm. The entire the acetylene markets is by LPG.
Got it.
And the name is Indian Nanocut.
Got it. Nice. Sir, is there a product or a experience or a technology that came out of a private industry that you envy or you look up to?
I mean, for example, Reliance is also having equally elaborate R&D. And
their claim to fame would be something that you envy, admire.
their claim to fame would be they won't be selling it in open market.
Right.
It will be for internal
value
adoption. But
accrual,
we
yeah.
know some of the very good technologies emanated out of Reliance R&D, which are very successfully adopted by the Reliance refineries.
Okay, right. All downstream again.
Monolithic,
all downstream.
right. All downstream. No upstream.
Right.
I mean, there is an upstream. ONGC is having an upstream R&D, but I'm not too aware of the upstream interventions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, let's talk about if India has to reinvent its R&D in green energy now.
Yeah.
So I understand you come from PSU. Let's call it as the regular energy or the grey energy. But now for the world that is today and the world to be,
yeah.
if you have to redesign R&D, how would you do so? If you are the architect of India's energy R&D, how would you do it?
So if I were to build a fresh R&D, which anyway I am doing at AM Green, my new company.
Yes.
My thought process would be, it's a collaborative research and collective thinking. That is the guiding principle.
Right.
And I would be building an R&D on platform-based research.
Okay.
Platform-based research, and it would be open innovation model.
Great. So when you say platform, you want multiple players to operate and collectively move the needle forward.
It's a collaborative research.
Yes.
So depending on the competencies that each player is having, join hands with them.
Of course.
And also the nature of projects that I would commission in this new R&D would be, like always, the R&D projects can be classified broadly. This is R&D parlance, which I'm going to tell you, is market pull projects and technology push projects.
Yeah.
There are certain blue sky innovations that any competent R&D would do, and you need to create market for them. There won't be a market that would be readily existing for such kind of innovations. So you have to push through the power of your technology and ask your BD teams or the business sales teams to create a market for that.
Right.
And that would be 40%. Black swan movements never, they won't occur every now and then.
Of course, yeah.
So every commercial R&D will thrive on incremental innovation. And so I would be thriving on market pull projects.
Right.
I must be having some processes or products. I will be continuously getting the market feedback. So how to improve these products or processes for the overall efficiency, for the overall profitability of a given organization. So my project mix in such an R&D, what you are asking me to dream, is 60% would be market pull projects and 40% would be technology push projects. So I will not lose the risk appetite of exploring the blue skies.
Right.
And for any R&D, the success of IndianOil R&D, I attribute it that there is a ready appetite waiting to adopt new things, amenable things, some kind of risk taking ability is there.
Right.
So I feel that the R&D efforts would be fructified when the business teams or the organizational philosophy is to adapt to the new innovations.
Right.
If there is a resistance to change, then
that is natural.
Howsoever good innovation, it will go to cold storage.
No, resistance to change is a factor everywhere.
No, but you have to break the inertias. I mean, it's a continuous struggle for a R&D person to convince the persons.
That depends on the 4x4 matrix of
exactly.
So basic research, breakthrough, and continuous improvement, and then there is disruptive innovation. Depends on.
So the disruptions and the breakthroughs come from my 40% of research, and but the organizations are based on the market pull or applied research.
Right.
Applied that keeps the preeminence of an organization intact.
Yeah, that's what leads to lower cost. That's what leads to your nano cut, Indian nano cut.
The Indian nano cut is a market pull innovation.
Yeah, Market needs a better, cheaper, faster service.
And we created the market. We emerged as the leader today. And rest of them after us, there are so many such products in the market. But they are all followers.
Great. So let's talk about adjacencies in the industry. For example, let's take a sugar mill, right? So sugar mill traditionally come from highly regulated, so there's only so much profit they can make, so on and so forth. It's all good. They have moved to ethanol, but that's like a very direct byproduct or a very direct adjacency there. They have found great. But as an expert who have seen multiple of green energy molecules, what do you think a sugar mill owner or a cooperative mill or a private mill, what are the opportunities they are sitting on?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. In fact, in many sugar industry seminars, I keep telling this. My tagline is, look beyond ethanol.
Sure. Please do elaborate.
Look beyond ethanol, because most of the sugar industries, they are masters of very tight engineering. We talked about frugal engineering.
Right.
And the speed of execution of sugar industry is one of the best. If you want to construct a commercial scale fermenter, and they can construct in half the time and half the cost.
Right.
Half the cost compared to any bigger organizations. Right. So using that strength, there is a lot of fermentation capacity in the sugar industry today. Might be at least 30 to 40% of that fermentation capacity is idle today.
Okay.
So I am asking that there are so many bolt-in technologies.
Such as?
You have a fermenter. There is some redundancy in the fermenter.
Okay.
3, 4, 5 fermenters in your sugar industry. Put a hydrolysis unit, a simple hydrolysis unit, bolt into that, and expand your feedstock basket.
Got it. Okay.
And don't stick to only sugarcane molasses, which will give a high carbon intensity ethanol.
Right.
And when you have the capacity to process the cellulose coming from lignocellulosic biomasses, or starches or bagasse, your bagasse also you're selling it to cement industry for a very low value applications.
It's more like they are doing a favor by taking away my dirt.
Taking away the tipping freeze and all that. So today, all such material can be put to a value added use by bolt-in technologies. With your fermenter, you add one hydrolysis, and somebody at a decentralized manner, they will do the first step of breaking these residues and giving you the cellulose. You just do the cellulose into sugar and put it in your spare capacity of fermenters, and you produce. And there is a good accounting practice that how much of that is low CI ethanol and how much of it is 1 CI ethanol. Your ethanol value will go up.
Of course.
And you will export markets will be vistas will be opened, and probably you can also connect with another downstream unit called SAF.
Sir, if I use a bolt-on technology, can I call this a 2G? Because it is not in traditional definition.
Don't call it 2G. You talk 2G, in terms of your CI.
No, only if I call it 2G, I can export as of today.
No. Advanced biofuel. You can call it as advanced biofuel.
Okay. That's
advanced biofuel. And all these advanced biofuels go by their carbon intensity.
Got it.
The product carbon footprint.
Right.
So, for any such intervention, you have to do a life cycle analysis, LCA, and establish your PCF of your product, whatever you want to sell.
Right.
And the products are today traded in European market based on
the lower the PCF, the higher the Europe wants it.
Exactly.
Got it. So where should I if I'm a sugar miller, where should I realistically start? Any particular molecule? Bolt-on is one. Okay. Anything else?
Ethanol, you can stick to the ethanol,
but do it at lower CI.
Narrative at lower CI and add sustainable aviation fuel.
Okay, sir. Moving on. Is there though we briefly mentioned about 2G and it could possibly be a misnomer, but is there a 2G of everything today?
Yes.
Because traditionally in ethanol, at least it was whether you're using a feedstock or a cellulose based, right? So what does 2G of everything else mean? Solar, wind, hydrogen, ethanol?
Solar, wind, hydrogen, they're anyway, they're born green.
Okay.
They are renewable, so they are
Uh-huh.
born green.
No, I'll give you an example. There was recently a very interesting take on a 2G solar. Not very literally. What they're saying is, why are you covering my agriculturable land or any other usable land? Go put this in a parking lot and cover my car. The thought was on that kind of
No,
a notion.
there are so many such experiments, floating solar.
Right. So even in a solar, please don't use my land.
Yeah.
Use something that is
Rooftop solar is from that concept,
right.
and parking lots in the bigger malls or in the metro stations, they're all
so that is a 2G solar now.
I mean, if you're calling it as 2G,
I'm just saying it was not literally in
but
that
as
words.
far as molecule is concerned, the green ammonia is a 2G ammonia.
Right.
If you want to translate into 2G nomenclature.
Okay.
And green methanol is a 2G methanol. Otherwise, you have an established product called coal-based methanol. Okay. Simply, China is the master in that. They gasify the coal and they produce ethanol at a very cheap rate.
Methanol.
Okay. Methanol. Right. At a very cheap rate.
Right.
But the carbon intensity is 300.
Wow.
So, which is untouchable almost by the European markets.
Right.
European markets. Likewise, hydrogen is also, green hydrogen is a 2G hydrogen. Otherwise,
by what I'm hearing is anything that lower the CI, 2G it becomes, is how you are defining
exactly.
it.
Exactly.
Okay. So, interesting.
Yeah.
So, sir, when you look ahead a little bit, what are some of the current technology or products or molecules that are hyped up a little bit versus that are realistic today, and what will be the scenario tomorrow likely?
For me, I mean, we used to think SAF is a overhyped technology, but now since 2027 is round the corner. Around the corner.
Yeah.
So SAF is no more within SAF. ATJ and eSAF, we thought that it would be a far distant technology and distant this thing, because you need to gasify the biomass and you have to have a green hydrogen. But green hydrogen is a reality today, and gasification is mature technology. And there is an off-taker, like in Europe, there is a sub mandate, blending mandate. If there is X percentage of SAF blending that one need to do, out of that X percentage, Y percentage should be eSAF. There is a sub mandate. So there is a market creation for the so-called distant technologies.
Right.
And so SAF, 2G ethanol, green hydrogen, they are all now and ready technologies today. Right. So for me, still a distant technology is a fuel cell technology. Okay. It is still, it has
like the car that runs on water, that fuel cell, or this is something else?
Exactly. Okay. The low temperature PEM fuel cells.
Right.
Or there is another fuel cell that is coming up, solid oxide fuel cell, that is more efficient. You asked the most hyped up technology today.
Yeah.
I don't call it as hyped up because scientifically it's definitely a better technology, but right now, the scalability and the maturity, commercial maturity from that viewpoint, fuel cell is still a decade, at least a decade far. Okay. A decade far, low temperature fuel cell. And I also know that unless this technology is mature, the infiltration of green hydrogen into transport sector will be widely done.
So some of the pilot, you are talking about the Reliance doing the pilot.
So the Reliance trucks are running on hydrogen, but that is powered by hydrogen ICE engines, what they call. They are not fuel cells. The internal combustion engine itself is amenable for hydrogen combustion.
Got it.
IndianOil R&D has procured 15 PEM fuel cell based hydrogen buses from Tata Motors, and they are running now as a pilot. So these are some of them, and few buses of those 15 are running in iconic routes like Gujarat Refinery to Statue of Unity, Kevadia.
Yeah.
Kevadia.
So how long should I wait before I can fill water in my car and drive?
So there is a Japanese car Mirai. which is famously driven by Honorable Minister Nitin Gadkari.
Okay.
There are 1 or 2 cars. Japan has launched that hydrogen car, which runs on fuel cell. So there was an earlier calculation by BCG that hydrogen fuel cell based mobility will break even when the minimum vehicular fleet size would be at least 1,000 to 1,500 buses.
Okay.
See, the total cost of ownership of diesel propulsion versus the total cost of ownership the fuel cell based hydrogen hydrogen fuel cell based propulsion in a bus segment will happen when the fleet size of the
is 1,500
vehicles and the hydrogen cost would be anywhere between 200 to 250 rupees a kg.
Oh wow! Okay, that's $3. I mean, $2.50.
$2.50. Right. So already we are there in the refinery tenders. The price that is discovered is 330 or 340 rupees.
So we are getting there.
We are almost getting there.
Nice.
But the fuel cell technology need to get there.
Of course. I think Honda had also launched it almost 10 years ago.
A fuel cell bus, when we bought at IndianOil R&D, it costed us anywhere between roughly 3 crores a bus.
Wow.
Whereas a diesel bus in 12-meter range will be 1 to 1.5. Chinese are saying that they can do it in 2 crores. We got quotes from China also.
Okay. No, the capex is high and also the TCO is high right now. So both needs to...
TCO is mainly because of the hydrogen cost.
Yeah. But also the capex. I mean, if the vehicle cost itself
No, it's not only hydrogen production. It is hydrogen refueling stations that you need
that
to put up.
It
requires compression. It is higher energy and higher infrastructure and safety.
I propose that or postulate that more as the date we near end of fossil fuel, we'll be forced to create other fuels.
But IEW prediction, which was concluded in Goa, we are nowhere near oil peak.
Oh my God!
Up to 2050, we are no more near oil peak.
So okay, maybe I won't live to see it. Maybe let's see the next generations. All right, sir. I heard bits and pieces of some of the awesome things AM Green is doing. Give us a picture of, especially the connection between the Grenco and AM. Why are they two different? And some of the great things you have achieved in all the scheme of things you spoke about.
So Greenco is a company. It's a power company.
Right.
Essentially, it is owning and operating assets of renewable power generation units, solar, wind, and hydro, at different geographies.
Yes.
And more so, one of the world's largest, India's first and largest pump hydro storage project is commissioned at breakneck speed, and it is today operational in Andhra Pradesh near Kurnool. 2 gigawatt of so-called cloud storage, pump hydro storage is operational. So they're experts in generating green electron at the most cost-efficient way.
Right.
So their cost of generation, including storage, so that they can assure you what we call it as RERTC.
Okay.
Renewable energy round the clock.
Got it.
Because for this to achieve, normally you have to build a huge battery-based storage space, which is highly capex intensive and opex intensive also. The life of a lithium battery is not more than 6 to 7 years.
Right.
So every 7 years you have to change. But pump hydro storage, maybe the capex is higher initially, but it is of 60 years life cycle. 60 years of life. And so our cost of green electron, delivered cost of green electron round the clock.
Right.
For giving you renewable energy round the clock, one need to over-design so many plants. If you want to run an electrolyzer plant for green hydrogen, you need to actually over-design to take care of the intermittencies and make it run 24/7, because you have to store it during the night time. You have to draw from the battery storage. Right. But here we will draw it from a potential energy, what we call it as water battery.
Okay.
Water will be pumping up during the peak time of the renewable electricity generation.
Mhm.
And then when sun is not there or renewable electricity is not there, the water stored at a height will
The
be
potential becomes kinetic and
drawn back,
right.
and electricity will be generated.
Got it.
That's how we go. So this is one project, and we have acquired this Finnish company called Chempolis. This is a technology player which can convert any type of lignocellulosic biomass into low carbon intensity ethanol and many other valuable products like furfural. Other 2G pathways, they don't have this product line.
Right.
Whereas our pathway is having, besides ethanol, we can produce green furfural.
So GreenCo is green electrons and
AM Green is a green molecule company.
Right. So this
both
Finnish
are having,
acquisition
both
happened part of GreenCo or AM Green?
No, both are having now cross holdings
Okay.
in both the
Okay.
companies.
So it's a merged entity to that extent.
I mean, both are sister entities of a same conglomerate, and AM Green is more a molecule company.
Right.
So under AM Green, we have 1 million metric ton of green ammonia plant coming up at Kakinada. And I told you that we have already signed offtake contracts. And we are going to replicate in Tuticorin, the coastal location, and the pump hydro projects by Greenco also coming up at Madhya Pradesh.
Excellent.
At Madhya Pradesh. And AM Green is also having a vision of setting up at least 5 biorefineries. Some of them would be integrated complexes up to SAF, and they would be generating low CI ethanol and also various other products, lignin-based products.
Right. So we wish AM Green the best, sir. I have a few rapid questions to ask. You can answer in either under 10 seconds or under 10 words, whichever you prefer.
Sure.
So which is the one green molecule you believe will scale fastest globally, and why?
So for me, it is green ammonia, the number one, and number two would be SAF.
Okay. So if cost parity occurs, which industry will abate carbon the fastest? Steel, aviation, cement, refining?
Refining.
One policy decision that helped India adopt so much green energy?
National Green Hydrogen Mission Roadmap, sustainable aviation, sustainable alternative towards affordable transport, SATAT.
Okay.
These are game-changing policy decisions.
Right. A policy decision you wish you want to change?
We want that the carbon trading should become a reality in India, because most of these low CI products, if we want to explore Indian markets also seriously, then the cross subsidization with carbon credit is the need of the hour, because these are little costlier than the fossil counterparts, and to achieve the cost parity, we need to have carbon credit monetization and carbon trading mechanisms.
One success metric everybody in R&D should follow?
It's incremental innovation.
Okay.
It's incremental innovation. Don't look for or plan for black swan innovations. They occur.
Yeah.
Serendipity every now and then won't happen.
Right.
But incremental innovations you can plan, you can strive, and you can achieve.
Of course.
I'm making this statement with my self-experience and self-record.
No, iPhone 3 was a breakthrough. iPhone 15 is not, or iPhone 17 is not. It's been a continuous.
But every organization need to strive, plan and strive for incremental innovations continuously.
Right.
Along the course, there might be a black swan innovation.
True. Sir, thank you so much. This was one of the most invigorating conversation I've had in this space, and I wish I can talk to you for 2 more hours. Maybe we will do a follow-up episode on more interesting questions in India's green energy. But thank you so much. We wish you all the best.
Thank you. It's likewise for me. And I thank Chini Mandi and you for having me here today and sharing my views on a wide-ranging green domains.
Thank you, sir. Thank you again.